Hey everybody, it's Lauren DeLisa Coleman for the Inside series at Filmio, and I have another cool interview to bring you during the San Francisco Film Festival. And I have with me now Sophia Silver, who is the filmmaker behind Over Under, which is going to be debuting at the festival, and we are lucky enough to steal a few minutes with her. Sophia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I love this topic. It just like makes me warm, like, just thinking about it. Because anything like childhood is when it's about the good side of childhood is nice, right? And there's a certain nostalgia to it. So without me giving any more way to you guys, Sophia, give us a synopsis, please, of Over Under.
Sure. So the script is actually based on my personal friendship with my co-writer and oldest friend in the world, Sianni Rosenstock. And it chronicles our time as best friends from the time we were 9 until the time we were 13. So we're really seeing these two girls go through that very tender time in adolescence, that like last bit of childhood, transitioning into puberty, and all of the hills and valleys that come with friendship during that time.
So thank you so much for that. First of all, I know that you said in the director's notes that this kind of came to you during the pandemic, when you were walking along the redwoods. And so, do you think either subconsciously or consciously, because of what was going on, you were thinking just more about kind of the safety and more that childhood brings us, or just what do you think kind of triggered that memory? I'm curious.
Totally. Yeah, no, and I'm a big believer of the subconscious working its magic at times. I think all of us, when we went into lockdown, it was like a little bit of an existential angst collectively that we were feeling. And I think I just was reflecting on the things in my life that brought me a lot of gratitude. And my friendship with Sianni was one of those things. And we just felt inspired to share our story. And we didn't know, because we've been friends since we were 4 years old, and now we're in our late 20s, what part we wanted to focus on. And this was just the time that felt super unique to us and special, and also very universal. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, we all go through adolescence. And we were just really inspired by it and gave it a go.
I just love it though that you guys have been friends since like 4 years old. Like, what's the secret?
I mean, I guess just
No girl cattiness or anything like that.
no. I mean, and as a girl, we all go through those things, but we just, I think it's because we were just super intimate and we spent so much time together. I mean, when we would spend our summers together, we would alternate sleeping over at each other's houses every single night. So became more family than friendship. It
That's
was
nice.
deeper than that. Yeah.
That's a total blessing to have that kind of relationship. So,
Totally.
talk to me then about how that became not just reminiscing, but a full-on film.
Yeah. Well, my background is acting, and I started writing my own material because the process of auditioning was just so demoralizing and agonizing.
Mm.
And Sianni is a teacher, and we sort of were like, what is this? Is this a memoir? Is this a book? Is this just sort of personal reflections for each other? And I was like, let's try and see. I see it so clearly. Like, I was having very strong visuals of each moment. And I said, let's try and write it in screenplay format and see what happens. And it kind of just spilled out of us that way. And we were very lucky to get Cooper Rife involved early on, who had written, directed, and starred in his directorial debut, Shithouse. And he was a first-time director, and him championing this project and believing in it sort of helped us make it a real thing. Like, we actually shot the movie, and it was amazing.
Wow. So, I mean, you had to go through a lot of, I don't know whether one would call, anxiety, self-doubt, excitement, et cetera, as a first-time filmmaker. How did you kind of manage all that? I guess like maybe emotionally or intellectually to be able to create the actual film and like manage the set and everything else.
Yeah. I was fiercely passionate. I mean, these girls are us. And so I didn't feel anyone else could tell the story. I didn't want to hand it over to anyone else. I felt it had to be me. And I was, when, we were attaching department heads, collaborators, I was just really honest about being a first-time filmmaker, about knowing this story, believing in it, having a strong vision, but needing to ask for help, needing to ask a lot of questions. And people are really supportive of that. I didn't feel judged for anything. I felt if I didn't have the answer, I could lean on one of my amazing collaborators. And I think that was such an important lesson too, for any first-time filmmaker. It's like, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not have all of the answers. So yeah.
I think that's great. And I think too, that you were just kind of really cognizant of the fact that you could ask questions and feel that it was safe and not, I mean, no one was like actually kind of condescending to you. I kind of just feel that sometimes, especially with guys, and no disrespect to guys watching, but it's like, there is a certain, sometimes, I don't know, some type of ego thing that happens where it's like, it makes me feel better to make you feel smaller. So I'm sure you don't know this, or you wouldn't think of that, or I'm going to tell you, you're going to tell me something, but I'm going to not hear you and tell you what you just told me, which I find sometimes is very frustrating. I remember, who was it? Dawn Steele, who I guess ran Paramount years ago, said, women have a hard time being heard in anything that's dealing with, video, film, etc. So I'm just wondering how you navigated that, or if you maybe even encountered it. Maybe you didn't.
I was really fortunate. I didn't encounter any of that at all. And I think this was the people that gravitated towards this film were women, and it just happened to be that way. And I think it's a story that as women we've encountered. And so there was such a sisterhood happening. And it was like we were all collectively giving birth to this project that was a shared experience. And so there was just this sort of safety and support throughout the entire process. Also, one thing that was a priority to me that I expressed to everyone who was working on the film was how important it was to keep the girls safe. And I think everyone really valued that together. So yeah, there was just a lot of support happening.
Okay. Well, also you didn't say that primarily you were communicating with other women. So it's a different story.
Exactly.
If maybe you were communicating consistently with other men, then there's, a little bit of that little girl doesn't know that much type of stuff, no matter what age you are, I find, right? You're just like, didn't I just say this? It's really interesting. But let's talk a little bit about kind of, I guess, more of the filmmaking process itself, like kind of the boots on the ground scenario, especially as a debut filmmaker. What did you find was maybe most challenging for you?
I mean, I think, again, because my background was acting, I felt really comfortable working with the actors. We rehearsed for 5 months. That was the first piece of the puzzle for me. I was like, if I find these 2 girls, the rest will sort itself out. So I cast them in March, and we started rehearsing right then. And through July, we would rehearse multiple times a week on Zoom. And so I think that part felt good to me, something I knew. The part that I didn't know was telling a story visually with a camera. I could see things in my mind so clearly, but I didn't have all of the vocabulary to communicate to my DP. It's this shot, it's this lens. So Frances Chen, our amazing DP, I just said to her, I was like, Fran, I'm going to express things in layman terms, and then hopefully you can translate that in a cinematic language. So that gave me a little anxiety at first, but again, I had so much support from her, and there was no judgment. And then I learned a lot that way. So it was exciting.
Sounds like you had the perfect experience, Sophia. Like, you need to just like package this. I don't know how, but
it really was. I have to say, it was like the most profound experience of my life.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
So now what do you hope viewers take away from this? Because I'm hoping it's not just seen as like a girl story, because, sometimes when you have like young boys, it's called, coming of age. Yeah. But then girls the same age coming of age somehow is like a girl's story. So I'm wondering what you kind of think about that, how you're positioning it, and again, what you hope, all genders, whatever, take away from this.
Well, I had a male friend of mine watch the film and was like, this really is a portrayal of personhood. I was a boy going through this experience, not a girl, but so much of this I remember. The feelings of being hyper aware of your body in relation to your peers and social pressures, and feeling ready to experiment maybe romantically, and then feeling not ready to experiment romantically. I think those things translate to whoever you are. It's just part of the human experience. So I'm really hoping whoever the viewer is, that they recognize a part of themselves in these girls and remember this time in life, because we all went through it and it's agony at times.
I think that is a great way to put it. And, it's funny, as I was saying, about how maybe it's more challenging as a woman to communicate with maybe older men or men who are our same age. I find that like younger guys are like, what? I mean, even my little brother said something about Inventing Anna. I was like, okay, but wait, you watched that? It's like, yeah, everybody's talking about it. It was hot and like this and that. And it makes me want to be like, a scammer too and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like back in the day, that was not really quite the norm, right? That you would find a young man of approximately the same age watching this story about this young girl, because it would have been considered, weak or something like that, or something that, was just for girls. Or isn't the term even, chick flick created for those purposes? We don't have a term for like male films are called action films or something, aren't they? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. I would love to get your take on that. If you think that different generations are more open to various types of stories when it pertains to gender.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we're at a really interesting point in time right now where there's just so much fluidity about all of this, and people are just more awake and open and receptive to other experiences. And it's okay to experience them. It's okay to watch them and to feel them and to recognize, we're all similar, so I think that's exciting. And I'm hoping that a lot of people who maybe 20 years ago wouldn't be able to watch this film, maybe a straight man can watch this film now and see part of themselves, or think of their sister or their daughter or their wife, and have an openness to really feeling this movie.
So tell me about getting into San Francisco Film Festival.
That was a crazy day. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I just had my son 2 months ago.
No way. Congrats.
Thank you. And I finished the film 2 days before, and yeah.
Are you bringing him to the festival?
I am, but he will not be coming to the screening.
No, that's good.
But it was this weird in between time, experiencing motherhood, finishing the film, and surrendering to the process of what's going to happen. And the acceptance came in on a Friday, and it was totally unexpected. And it feels so perfect for this film to premiere in San Francisco, what the city's about, the culture, it's such a historically like hub for artists. And I feel that this film, I just am really proud to be having our premiere there.
That's so great, Sophia. Yeah. So now, have you been there before?
Yes. I mean, just, to visit here and there, but.
Oh, no, I mean to the festival.
Oh, no, I actually haven't, but it's been a festival that so many friends of mine have attended, and I've wanted to go to forever. I just never thought it would be because I was going to be showing my work there.
So that's great. So this is going to be a first time experience as well. A lot of firsts.
Yes.
First child, first film, first like so many things. It's like, I'm sure overwhelming, but great at the same time.
Oh yeah. I'm so grateful how everything's unfolded. It's amazing.
You seem very chill though. Like very just zen. Like, oh yeah, I'm just doing.
I mean, I don't know. I'm also up in a remote part of California right now, away from the hustle and bustle, and I feel like that can help calm the nervous system.
I guess that is true. And
Yeah.
so I guess finally, just tell me a little bit about how ICM got involved with this project.
Sure. Yeah. So Cooper is represented by them, and our wonderful sales agent, Jessica Lacey, worked with him on Shithouse. And we were looking for a sales agent, and he connected us with her and just said, see the film and see what you think. And she really responded to it and called me and was, again, such a champion and was like, I would love to represent this movie.
Oh, that's so nice. So
Yeah.
wait, like Cooper is now your patron saint, no? Like,
Yeah, he's really, he really did executive producer right. He's been incredible, and he believed in me, he really believed in me, and didn't have to, and I had nothing to show. I had no short film, no music video, nothing, and I was like, please just trust me and trust my vision, and he did. So I'm eternally grateful for that.
super, super exciting. I'm so glad to hear when people just kind of come together like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's like not by design. That's just, by a larger force. So that is really amazing.
Yeah.
Sophia, how can we keep up with everything that you're doing and this film itself and whatever other fabulousness you're going to be doing after this film? Because I'm sure more is going to be coming.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely working on some things with Sianni that I'm really excited about. So more to come. I'm actually not on social media or anything like that.
Maybe that's also why you're a little more zen. I don't know.
I did get off of it 6 years ago. And
Really?
it was
Wow.
yeah.
So what about a site for the film, or do you have a site?
Yeah, there is an Instagram, over under movie. And then you can check us out on the San Francisco website. And I hope to see you there on April 30th.
Great. So let's see. Anything else you'd like to add before we finish up?
No, I just hope that people really respond to the film. I hope that they, like I said, see versions of themselves in these girls and can reflect on this time in their life, because I feel like a lot of our social woundings start at this age, and it's kind of important to have that time with yourself to remember what we all went through during this phase in life.
Very nice. Sophia, thank you so much for taking the time. I hope the festival is amazing for you and the screening.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Lovely meeting you.
You as well. And you guys, I hope that you have enjoyed watching this interview with Sophia and her fab film, Over Under. Definitely try and follow to see when it's going to be, I don't know, available in your city. Who knows what's going to happen with ICM behind it. Anyway, we will be bringing you even more interviews during the San Francisco Film Festival. And I am, as always, Lauren DeLisa Coleman for the Inside series here at Filmio. Thank you so much for watching.